are back with another episode of the Forsyth Mags podcast. And today I have Jessica Rogers with me, the Director of Enrollment Management at Salem Academy. Hey, Jessica.
Hey, good morning.
How's it going?
It's great.
Good. Good to see you. Thanks for coming out on this disgusting day.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I know it was hard to leave my house, I have to admit. I was nice and cozy.
Yeah, it's tough to drive out in this.
Yeah. So, Jessica, we're going to talk all things Salem Academy today. And before we started recording, we were just talking about how it's so cool that Salem Academy is the oldest school, the oldest all-girls school.
Yes, it's the oldest school for girls and women in the United States.
That is so cool that we have that here in Winston.
It is really cool. Yeah, we're older than the Declaration of Independence. We were founded in 1772.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a very big deal. And founded on the idea that girls deserve the same education as boys in a time where no one was educating girls.
Wow. Yeah, because back in 1772, I would imagine the women education was very limited, if not
no
non-existent.
one was really concerned with women going to school except for the Moravians, who had this revolutionary idea that their daughters deserve the same education as their sons.
Oh, that's awesome. So how long have you been with Salem Academy?
I've been at Salem Academy for 8 years.
Okay. Wow. So I do want to talk a little bit about, I know the public sometimes gets confused on the difference between Salem Academy and Salem College. I'm sure you get this question a lot. And
all the time.
It's very simple for people that are involved, but for the public who's maybe confused, can you break it down for us?
Sure. So Salem Academy is an all-girls boarding and day school that serves students in grades 9 through 12. Salem College is a private liberal arts college for women. So it is the higher education component of the campus, and we are the high school component. We actually share our campus, which gives our high school students the incredible opportunity to take college courses on a college campus.
Okay. And do a lot of the Salem Academy students end up going on to Salem College?
And so for us, we want our students to know that their college search process should be very personal, and it's all about finding their best fit.
Sure.
So for some students, a private liberal arts college in Winston-Salem is perfect, and for other students, it's not.
Yeah.
And so it depends year to year just based on which students are interested in a women's college and which students want to go out and try something different.
Sure. So you said boarding and day school. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so this year we've got students from 11 different states and from 6 different countries. And then about half of our population is from the Winston-Salem area. We also have a unique 5-day boarding program. So students who are from Greensboro or Raleigh area, Charlotte area, things like that, they are there and they go home on the weekends.
Oh,
so that's nice for local-ish families who are excited about the idea of boarding school but not quite ready to send their daughters away full-time yet.
Is that something you could transition?
Absolutely.
So you could start off on the 5-day and then move on to
into the 7-day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very cool. How many students are at Salem Academy?
We have less than 100 students. So this year we are graduating 22 seniors.
Wow. I was thinking it was bigger than that for some reason.
We definitely used to be bigger.
Yeah.
And I think COVID, along with some other things, have hurt all of us.
Yeah.
We are also intentionally small. We're small by design because we want all of the students there to have lots of individual attention from their teachers. We want them to have really a one-to-one relationship with their advisor, who's their mentor, and we want all of the students to feel comfortable with their voices being heard.
Yeah.
In so many ways, girls are not raised to speak up and to speak out, and we want to create a place where students feel comfortable being themselves and learning how to speak up in ways that are really impactful.
Oh, I love that. I think small class size is so crucial. I went to High Point University, and it might be bigger now, but when I was there, the class sizes, especially when you get into your major, 10, 12 people in the class, and that's just so impactful, versus
really
being in a class of 100.
Absolutely.
So I think that's probably making a huge impact on these girls to have that one-on-one relationship with their teacher, for their teacher to be able to learn their name in the first couple days, when you have 30 people in your class in high school.
Yeah.
That's
It
very
creates
different.
this incredible confidence, I think, for them to be able to be known and to be seen from their very first day. And for many of them, even before their first day, when they go through the admissions process, we know their name, we get to know their family, we get to know what they're excited about, what they're nervous about. So that way we can help them to overcome those challenges and to ultimately be the best versions of themselves.
Yeah, For sure. So I'm surprised to hear that half are from Winston. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting. We've got students from a lot of our great local schools here, and then students from a little bit further, Greensboro, High Point, Jamestown, and then again as far away as China. We've got a small subset of students from the small island nation of Dominica, which is in the Caribbean, and then again students from 6 different countries this year and from 11 states.
Okay. Very cool. What makes Salem Academy, I'm sure there's a lot to this question, but what makes it different than going to a regular high school?
Yeah, so I think the best thing about it is that it is all girls. And I think for so many people, the idea of that is such a foreign concept because most of us have been in co-ed schools since we were small. And for us, 100% of our resources are dedicated to the education of girls. 100% of our resources are dedicated to the girls' athletic programs. So there's no jockeying for space in the gym on a day like today when you might have a boys and a girls sports team that need the gym because they can't practice outside. All of our resources are dedicated to the education of girls. We've got a phenomenal college counseling program. So all of our students receive 4 years of college counseling. So that way, by the time they're seniors, they know where they want to go because they know who they are. They know the goals that they've set for themselves. I think the way that our girls emerge as leaders is really powerful as well. Again, 100% of our leadership positions are held by girls. And awesome. That is one of the things I encourage families to ask when you go visit other schools, because we know we're not the only show in town. So we want you to go visit other independent schools, other public schools, and ask them what percentage of your resources are dedicated to girls athletics. What percentage of your student leaders are female? And I think that those are some really important questions to ask when you're thinking about the place for your daughter that's going to set her up for the best possible future. I think we're also a community of really kind and compassionate people. And that is probably the most important thing for me. I think right now being a teenage girl is a nightmare. I think that there's no way really to survive it in a lot of ways. And for us, we're teaching and reinforcing kindness and compassion and acceptance and diversity in all its forms. So that way our students are really great members of this community and could go out into the world and share that positivity and share that acceptance and be better people.
Oh, that's great. And I know you guys put a lot of focus on science, on technology. Talk about that first.
Yeah, so we are a STEAM-based school. And so for us, science and technology and engineering and mathematics are super important, but it all works because of the arts. And so sometimes I think there's this misconception that if you're not a science kid, then Salem Academy is not the place for you. Like, what if you love literature? And we are providing a really well-rounded education for our students. But for us, the idea of STEAM is the idea of problem solving and of innovation and of thinking things differently, that there's more than one way to do something. Most of our classes are going to be really hands-on and discussion-based as opposed to just a strict lecture course. So our students have a voice. They have the opportunity to speak up and to have a really great discussion, again, with their teacher, with their classmates, and then also, again, to look at different ways to solve problems. Right now, we've got our seniors are on their class trip to Costa Rica. Ooh. And so our seniors are down there, and they're having some fun. They're adventuring a little bit, but they're also working with another girls' school down there with some robotics camps and some theater camps. So there's really incredible opportunities for our students, but we don't want to leave out the arts. So that's really important for us, is to make sure that students know they have all of those outlets. We are a small school, and for that reason, we're able to open up so many opportunities to students that I think you can't have at other schools because the curriculum really has to be in a box at so many other schools. But we have the opportunity to offer independent study options. All our students will complete internships before they graduate. We've got these travel experiences. There's so much that students can do. And again, we want to attract those students who are really inclined towards the sciences, but also don't want to leave out the students who are really into the humanities.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's just a good opportunity because, you know, historically the science and technology is dominated by males. So to be able to be in an all-girls school where you're in a science or technology class with just other girls has got to be much less intimidating.
Absolutely. And helping students, I think that for so many reasons, girls, when they're younger, when you're in elementary school, we're not necessarily encouraged to be good at math. And so for that, I think so many high school students have this fear of math and think that they're not good at it. And in a lot of ways, it's just because they haven't been exposed to it in the right way. So I think that our teachers are really phenomenal in helping students to find those strengths and to figure out when you have weaknesses, how we can turn those into strengths. How can we make you more confident in math, you don't have to leave wanting to major in math, right? That doesn't have to be your whole life, but we want girls to be more confident, and we do want to get more girls and women into those underrepresented fields.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree. I think that's awesome. So do most people come to Salem Academy in the ninth grade, or could you come if you're like at a school and you're unhappy and you want to make that switch in 10th
absolutely.
or 11th?
So our ninth grade class usually starts fairly small, 15 to 20 girls. And then by the time they graduate, we've added students. It's a pretty natural entry point actually to come in 10th grade.
Okay.
For some people, it's because their school, another independent school, may go to ninth grade. There's a couple here in the triad that go through ninth grade. And so students are really committed to finishing that experience that they started maybe in kindergarten or even pre-K, and then coming to us as 10th graders. It's also a natural entry point for students who have gone to a school and then have said, this isn't what I'm looking for, and seeking something else. And then traditionally, I would say historically in boarding schools, it's not uncommon for students to come in as 11th graders as well. They've had 2 years of their local school and then want to try boarding school or want to try an independent school so that they'll be better prepared for college.
Yeah.
It's less common to bring in a student as a senior, but I would say the 8 years that I've been there, we brought in at least one student as a senior every year.
Okay.
I think that's a real tribute to our community to say that a student can come in again at 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, or even 12th grade and immediately be welcomed into the community and feel like she has a place there.
That's important for sure.
Absolutely.
Jessica, what are some common misconceptions about boarding school in general, or maybe about Salem Academy, that you feel like you're constantly answering?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that when people think all girls, they think about a lot of drama, because there is so much drama, I think, in schools where they're co-ed. But what I always tell students and parents is that when you take the boys out, you take the drama out. So I think that we are a community that is stronger because we are all girls, and because our teachers are there because they want to be there. And every single member of our community, whether it's student, faculty, or staff, they're at Salem Academy because they want to be there. So we're not a school where your mom went there and your grandmother went there and your aunts went there, so you have to come to Salem Academy. Every student is there because she wants to be there, and every faculty and staff member is there because they want to be there. They want to teach girls in this all-girls setting. They want to help develop teenage brains. I also think there's the idea that because we're an all-girls boarding school and a day school, that there's a certain type of student that we have at Salem Academy. And I always like to dispel that myth of what a Salem Academy student looks like. Again, we've got students from 11 different states, from 6 different countries. That means we've got students from all types of backgrounds. So incredible diversity, arguably one of the most diverse independent schools in the Southeast. And we're really proud of that. I think the idea of who we are was founded on diversity and founded on thinking outside of the box. And for our students, that diversity is so important. I think we're helping prepare girls for the future by putting them in classrooms and next to students who don't look anything like them, who didn't grow up like them. So that's the piece that I really think I wish people knew more about Salem Academy, is how diverse it is. Geographically, ethnic and racial diversity, cultural, political diversity, religious diversity, all of it is really important to us because that's what creates this community.
Yeah, I love that. I think being around different people is key. If you're only surrounded by people that have the same thoughts, beliefs, and look the same as you, there's not a lot of room for growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some exciting things that are coming up at Salem Academy in the next few months?
Yeah, so we're heading towards graduation, so that's important for us, obviously. We are doing some events this summer to try to get some people to learn a little bit more about us. We've got a virtual event that's coming up in June where students can join us and hear from the experts who are the students. I love the job that I do. I love working with students, but I also love for students and families who are new to the community and are thinking about Salem Academy to hear it from students. I think there's nothing so powerful as hearing from a 16-year-old girl why she chose Salem Academy and why she stays and why she thinks that she's thriving and what her future looks like. So we've got an event in June. We've also got an event in August that will bring people to campus so that they can visit the campus a little bit before school starts and start to think about their path to Salem Academy, whether they're in 7th grade now or even in 10th grade, and looking for options for next year.
Very cool. So when people come do a campus tour, what's something that they're always like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, that they see on campus that they're really excited about?
I think first of all, people are surprised at the size of the campus. We share our space essentially with Old Salem. We're across the street from Old Salem, and I think you really only see the front of the institution. But when you go on tour, you get to see the depth and breadth of the campus. So I think they're surprised about that. We've got a wonderful student center that people I think are always excited to see, and because of our passion for STEAM, we've got a really fantastic theater. So students get to visit that, and they also get to visit our robotics classrooms and things like that. So they get to see all of the opportunities that are there. And I really think that that's when you see the proximity of the academy to Salem College. We share our campus with the college, and so that means our students are preparing for college by being on a college campus. And so to see that you're 2 steps away from college classrooms, so you may have the opportunity to take those courses in 11th and 12th grade, that you're using college level facilities. I think for me, one of my favorite things to show people is the library, especially if you are, again, from this area and you have only ever seen your local middle school's library. You get to come in and see this incredible college library that you have access to. And the best thing about the library is that if it's open, it's staffed. So there's always a person there to help them. And again, I'm a library kid. I'm a person who has read books forever and
so you're
loves.
not aimlessly walking around.
No.
Yeah.
And so if you need to find something, if you need to start a research project, there's a grown-up there that will help you. Our teachers will schedule classes in the library so that students can get more comfortable with it, and then just giving them that information at the tips of their fingers as 9th and 10th graders, so that way when they do go off to a big college or university, they're already familiar with the research process and familiar with the college library.
Oh, that's so unique, because I know for me, it was when I went from the high school to college transition, it would have been so nice to have that experience of being, near college campus in the college library, because it's kind of a culture shock coming from high school to college. You don't know what to expect.
I think families are often surprised, too, by how safe our campus is. That's one of the biggest questions I always get from parents is about safety. And so they'll see when they come to campus that every single building is key card access. There are extra layers of security within the dorm facilities to make sure that students are safe. Again, those students who are our boarding students, they live there. That's their home. And so you get to see what kind of activities you'll do as a boarding student. You get to see what opportunities you'll have, and you get to see how safe and secure the campus is, which is super important.
What are some of the activities?
So because we're both boarding and day, we've got to think creatively about ways to keep our students engaged. We do partner with other boarding schools so that our students get to see life outside of Salem. And so that may be an all-boys boarding school, it may be an all-girls boarding school, or a co-ed boarding school. So there's things that we do there. We also like to take advantage of where we are in Winston-Salem. So we do encourage our students to get out and explore the city. So to come to Bookmarks Festival, right? And to come to Fiesta and things like that. But there's also sometimes we just want to host a pool party. We have a pool on our campus, and so it's nice, especially on a day like today. We've got a pool party scheduled for today, so that the girls can enjoy that indoor pool and watch a movie and play games. Sometimes we just want to do something as simple as a movie night, right? To get everybody out of their rooms, to get everybody together. All of our events that we host, all of our students can come to them. So even if you're a day student here in Winston-Salem, and you already, you've got stuff to do on the weekends, right? Your family's here, you can still come back to campus and do these events.
Very cool.
So we want to make sure that all of our students feel like they're part of the community. We do stuff like we'll take students to Scarowinds, so take advantage of that. And for so many students, they maybe have never seen snow before. Not that we've seen it in the past 2 years, but they've never seen the leaves change. So there's so much of that stuff that we want to help expose students to the culture that we have here in Winston-Salem and in North Carolina. We'll do day trips to Wilmington, to the beach. We'll do day trips to the mountains. So just to make sure that students are getting outside, they're active, and again, that we're partnering with other schools so they do really have this really robust social life.
Yeah. What kind of clubs and sports does Salem Academy
Yeah, so we've got 5 sports. We had more before COVID, and of course everything sort of got dialed back a little bit. So in the fall, our students can play volleyball and tennis. In the winter, we have swimming and fencing, and in the spring, we have soccer.
Very cool. Lots of options.
Lots of options, yeah. So in terms of clubs, students can participate in things like Key Club. We have a Black Student Union. We've got a Queer Straight Alliance. We've got lots of service organizations. We've got organizations that are dedicated to things like the environment. We've got a yearbook. We've got a really, really talented Model UN and debate program that students can participate in. And robotics and theater, I would say, are some of our most popular co-curricular activities.
Very cool. It sounds like you guys have tons going on at Salem Academy.
We do. It's a busy place.
Yeah. So if you have a girl who is in 7th, 8th grade, what is the right kind of timing to reach out to you guys to schedule a tour to learn more about Salem Academy?
So the benefit of who we are is that we accept applications on a rolling basis, which means right now there are families who have not yet thought about sending their daughter to Salem Academy in the fall. And that's okay. So we are still accepting applications. As students complete applications, we will review those and immediately render a decision. But families really wanting to look at the process and give themselves enough time, I would say, should start looking in the fall of their 8th grade year or spring of the 7th grade year. This year we had an open house in April that was about half and half. About half of the students were 6th and 7th graders, and the other half of the students were ones who were looking and applying for this fall. So there's no right time necessarily because of our rolling admissions process, and because if a family calls me today and wants to apply for the fall, we do still have spaces available, and so we can make it work for them. But I would say if families want to give themselves enough time to make a really good decision, they should start in about October of the year before they want to come to Salem Academy.
Okay, good to know. So if you are interested in scheduling a tour or coming to check out the campus, how would you go about doing that?
You can do that on our website.
Okay.
So salemacademy.com is our website. You can request a tour through there. You can call our office, and then you can also send us an email. So we try to make it really easy for families to get in contact with us so that we can walk them through the process. And that's the job of my role as the Director of Enrollment Management, is to walk families through the admissions process and the enrollment process so that they get all their questions answered. And I'll have families all the time say, I've asked you a million questions. And I was like, this is my actual job, is to answer all of those questions so that you feel really good about your decision and that you have all of the pieces that you need to make that very important decision.
I was going to say, it's a big decision.
Very big decision. And we want families to know that we take it really seriously, but also that we're a lot of fun at Salem Academy. We're a fun place.
I love it. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for coming to chat with me today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And tell us your website one more time so we can put that in our
salemacademy.com.
salemacademy.com. So if you have a child or know of somebody who might be interested in attending Salem Academy or taking a tour and seeing all the fun things they do, you can head to their website. And as always, you can find Forsyth Mags and all of our content on our website, forsythmags.com. And you can find us on social media at Forsyth Mags. And that is a wrap for today. The views and opinions stated on this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our distributors or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Forsyth Magazines Incorporated. Ooh, that's a mouthful.